he understands English. He understands English, but obviously he's more comfortable speaking Hebrew. So I don't tell him, but I'm really glad to have an excuse to spend an hour on the phone talking Hebrew. So that's a fun thing. So I am now 1 hour in to a morning. And Maya, you I don't think you ever met Alon. I don't know if you met Alon.
I have no idea if I've met Alon or not.
You did. You did. Maya, you did. He's Ohad and Aya's oldest son.
Okay, yeah. So anyhow, and he's the sweet. The only problem I had was getting his father off the Zoom. He had an attitude like, oh my God, the rabbi is teaching. If you don't come up with the right answer, you're going to go to hell or something. So if Alon would hesitate for a moment, Ohad would jump in. Oh, the right answers. Be quiet. Well, we had a good time. Okay, so Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I was saying Shabbat Shalom, Joy. Shabbat Shalom to you. Helen, I said hello to. Yeah, Karen Sarachek said hello. Pat.
You forgot me, but that's okay.
Well, I'm sorry?
You forgot me, but that's okay.
No, I haven't forgotten you, dear. I'm going up the list of pictures.
Oh, thank you.
Excuse me for a moment. What are you doing in my granddaughter's room? Josh, answer the question.
We're gonna study some Torah, strictly business.
Woo! Oh, there you go.
We have to talk. This may not be acceptable. Okay.
It's totally acceptable.
You're telling me, Risha.
Okay, I'm now sweating. Okay. I want to start off by saying, and I haven't said hello to anyone. Josh is a student at Middlebury. Where are you?
Middlebury.
And anyhow, he was in Israel last year with Maya, and they kind of met there. But I didn't expect to see you this morning in her apartment. Okay.
It is afternoon there, of course.
Stop excusing kids.
How old is she, Rabbi? How old is your granddaughter?
12.
No. How old is she? Maya, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
Maya can have a young man in her room if she wants to.
This is also
Sorry.
Whoa, wait a second.
Oh my gosh.
They're all dressed.
Chevra Torah, and there are hundreds of other people watching it. The answer is no. Okay, now I want to take the opportunity to thank Hannah Gohl and the staff for handling last week's mechanicals. We had some difficulty. I want to tell you that the staff at Wilshire pitched in, tried hard. Donna Nadell was there and made certain that it happened. And I have to tell you, the support was outstanding. So thank you. I do know that at the end, we didn't do Kaddish last week, and it saddened me. There was no way that we could get back on. The program cut off. But thank you to the staff for pitching in and allowing it to happen. And Mazel Tov to Kevin Cohn, who is not here, apparently. Kevin, who had his daughter Alexia's bat mitzvah last week. Calendar. Wednesday, November 30th at noon is our next current events class. And I am so pleased, that the world continues to fall apart. And in that reason, we have plenty of stuff to talk about in terms of current events. That's Wednesday, November 30th. Saturday evening, December 3rd, Film Society. I don't see Jim, but I will make that announcement anyway. And Sunday evening, December 18th. First candle. Cindy, what's going on with Sisterhood?
December 2nd, we're having a Hanukkah celebration at Froman's Deli. Everybody member is welcome.
The 10th,
Men, women. December 22nd. It's a no-host dinner. They're very accommodating about separate checks. With latkes.
What time?
6 o'clock, but you'll have to register bulletin soon. You don't have to pay to come, but we need to have a.
Yeah, I'm sure that she froze. I don't know if you picked up, but they need a count. They need a count for the restaurant. So you got to register in advance.
what was December 10th, Cindy? I lost that one.
I lost that also.
December 20th. It's during Hanukkah.
I got
It's
the before
Thursday
second.
night.
Yeah, but what about, didn't you say December 10th or something at Froman's? Did I miss that?
Not me.
I heard you say that too.
Yeah, you said
I-
December 10th.
December 22nd.
Got that.
Okay,
Sorry, Cindy, would you say the first one was the Hanukkah party at what day?
December 22nd, 6 o'clock. Everyone welcome.
It's not the 23rd
20.
because I have Friday the
Friday night.
23rd.
okay. As I said to Alon in Israel, Maspik Kvar. That's it. Cindy, maybe you can post a chat and just put a couple of dates in there, whatever it is, and let people check the chat. Okay, check the chat. I like
That's a
it.
good idea.
Chat the chat.
Okay, checking in. I see Lorraine has joined us. Marina has joined us. Tamara has joined us. It's so much fun. Effie, I said hello to you.
I didn't hear you.
I did. Jeez, cut a guy a break. The checking in, is there something that is going on in your life? I'd like to thank Joseph Perling, who last week helped me get to the bar mitzvah. That was extremely important. And Joseph, thank you very, very much. Anything going on that you want to share with us? Anything good? Anything happy? Anything difficult, Howard?
I want to share that I had my 83rd birthday, which is good.
When is
And
that? How many years from now?
so 13 years to be a child and 70 years of doing stuff. And for a present, I got a copy of the Robert Alter translation of the Torah.
Wow, that's a good translation. Alter is good.
I've begun seeing it, but it's really sensational. I think it's really an excellent translation, and it has a lot of stuff in it about what translations are supposed to be and things like that.
Now, I heard a rumor, Howard, that you were signing up for potential second bar mitzvah.
I think that went into the Wilshire Boulevard black hole. I'm considering making a donation of a building, and maybe they will return my email, but I don't know.
Whoa,
It didn't go into a black hole. I can tell you, Howard, that they're now considering opening a class for 83-year-olds.
Well, then that's really good news. That's exactly what I was hoping would happen.
and you know what just happened? I just aged out of a class. That is frightening. That is absolutely frightening. Okay.
Happy birthday.
Very good. Okay. Anything else going on that we should know about or want to know about or anything at all? Okay. Josh, what year are you in now? Your second year?
Yes.
Okay. What are you majoring in?
Environmental studies, Arabic and Hebrew.
That's it.
Yep.
That sounds pretty fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have something to ask about. I auditioned for the Cal Vets home to play piano for the disabled veterans, and they said it was amazing. I wrote 2 songs in 10 minutes, so pray that I get a call back for that. And also at the hospital, another audition for another hospital to play piano.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And I'd like people who care for veterans because we are very vulnerable people and we need all the care we can get. Okay, we are now in Toldot, chapter 26, verse 34 and following. Verse 34 and following.
What did you say? Genesis 3? Wait a minute. Where are we? You said what?
Yeah, Genesis chapter 26.
You didn't say that, Rabbi. Sorry.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
You said Genesis? Did I miss it? I'm sorry.
That's what he said.
Apologies. Apologies. to
All in
everybody.
favor of having said that I did say it, raise your hand. Okay, thank you. We got
I didn't say you didn't say it. I didn't hear it. I'm sorry, Rabbi. I apologize.
Genesis 26:34 in the clout. It's 177 and Genesis 26. Let me just look over here.
Okay, got it.
Everyone's on turkey
And the
overload.
WRJ.
Yeah, the WRJ
141.
141 is correct. I got that, is correct. Now, we're going to start right off. We're going to jump right in. I hope everyone has recovered from turkey and stuffing. And the best news for Thanksgiving, the very best. We had Thanksgiving with Aviva, with our daughter and family. And because of a variety of things, Risa was asked to make the turkey. I did the slicing. Okay, now, that meant when we left Aviva's house after Thanksgiving, I had the right to ask for some of the leftovers. It is always a struggle in my family. And this year, we ended up doing really well. Okay.
Maybe they need to buy a bigger turkey then for you, huh? Then you'd have some leftovers. No.
We had a 14-pound turkey for how many? 8 people?
No.
Wow.
That was enough.
Well, not
you
for
guys
leftovers,
don't
not
know
if you
how
want
lucky you are.
leftovers.
Okay, when Esau was 40 years old, he took to wife Judith's daughter Beri the Hittite and Basmat daughter of Elon the Hittite. They were a bitterness of spirit to Isaac and Rebekah. We're going to stop with that. Esau was Ben Arba'im Shana, was 40 years old. Look at verse 35. V'tiyena morat ruach Yitzhak Yaakov. It was, the translation is bitterness of spirit. Mara is not on today, right? Oh, there you are. So Marat Ruach is bitterness of spirit. I just thought I
appreciate that.
I do that to be supportive. Now, a Morah, the word Morah, as in Marat Ruach, has another meaning in Hebrew as well. There are a few meanings. And one is like a hair cutting tool, a razor or something like that. And Sforno says they were so upset at this marriage that both of his parents, that is to say, Isaac and Rebekah, had their lives cut short because of this marriage or these marriages. Why? What happens in verse 34 that ended up being a morat roch, a bitterness of spirit in 35? What happened? Donna.
He married 2 Hittite women.
He married 2 Hittite women. You think you
Not
got
Jewish girls.
Yeah, you thought you got away with a lot by just reading what the text says. I'm going to come back with a second question, Donna.
Okay.
So who are the Hittites?
They're apparently bad guys.
No, they're not bad guys.
There's some of the indigenous people around there, I would guess.
Okay.
Why is her name Judith, though? Judith suggests she might be a Hittite who converted to Judaism.
It's sometimes the simplest text just sit there, just go zipping right past them. And then you say, whoa, wait a second, there's something here. The Hittites, because Donna, last night I checked. The Hittites were more Indo-European than Semitic.
Okay.
Very
Sure.
interesting. The Hittites are considered to have been, I want you to know that I learned all this stuff, so I have to dump it so that maybe Brad will respect my classical knowledge. They were Anatolian. So what does that mean to you? Anatolian.
Turkish?
Yeah, well, today we would say that, yeah, but area, right, from that area. They were from that area. They had at times a major, big kingdom, Indo-European, and they were never enemies of the Jewish people. Never enemies. I found a quote here. Judah, the kingdom of Judah, and the Hittites were never enemies in the Hebrew text. In the book of Kings, Sefer Malachim, they supplied the Israelites with cedar, chariots, horses, whatever. In the book of Genesis, they're listed as friends of Abraham. King David had a general who was Uriah the
Hittite,
a captain in his army. One of his mighty men found in Chronicles. This is not an enemy people. This is not a neighboring tribe falling on the Israelites or the Judeans or whatever and cause problems.
Maybe they just weren't nice.
Why are you making them bad people?
No, maybe these daughters-in-law were just bad people. That's why they had bitterness of spirit.
Maybe
were
it's
Hittites.
because they went out of their boundaries that they were assumed to be bad people.
Went out of their boundaries.
They went out of their tribal enclave.
What's wrong with a family of Abraham member marrying a Hittite? First of all, this is not a schlepper kingdom. This is like, the fairly powerful presence. What's wrong? They were idol worshipers.
Idol worship.
Oh,
They were idol worshipers.
Idol worship. Oh.
They were, in that sense, contagious of a virus that could cause people to separate from the covenant. So you look at it, married Hittites, it's a non-Jewish person, they're evil. Nothing to do with their evil, not evil, though I will explore evil daughters-in-law with you at a later time. It has all to do with the struggle to keep Judaism intact. Covenant, no idolatry. Tamara, do you want to jump in with the Hittites and with anything like that? No? Okay. So
Rabbi,
Is it for the same reason that Isaac did not want his other son to marry a local girl?
It's the reason why Eliezer, supposedly the servant, was sent to bring Rebecca back. Yes, it's the same thing. And there's a wonderful Hebrew expression, lahachis. And it's one thing to do the wrong thing. It's something else to do the wrong thing, to stick it to somebody. Lahachis is to stick it to. And the feeling in the text is Isaac and Rebekah saw their son stick it to them by marrying people outside of the covenant. At least that's how I'd read it. That's how no, I'm getting a negative. Okay. All right, Tamara, I can be fixed. Tamara?
Yeah, I think later on, he definitely is not trying to stick it to them. When he sees that they're upset, he marries a person from the tribe. So he's always trying to do the right thing with his parents. He's really portrayed as caring, but not too sensitive. So at least that's a sub I see.
So you want to reclaim Esau?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he gets screwed up and he cares and he's heartbroken because, when he says, have you but one blessing, my father bless me also. I mean, it breaks my heart to see him lose the opportunity. So I think the Torah portrays him sensitively rather than as a villain. And then later, the rabbinic tradition makes him a villain. That's my read.
So I have had my mind poisoned by all those rabbis. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it does happen. I read the verse, he was 40 years old. And the rabbis said the following about Esau. For the whole 40 years of his life, Esau enticed women from their husbands and ill-treated them. I am just simply saying Tamara is correct that the rabbis didn't have a warm fuzzy toward Esau. And when he reached the age of 40, he said, my father took a wife when he was 40, and I shall do the same. The rabbis then took this to blame Isaac, and by implication to warn all parents or grandparents. It is our obligation to get our kids married off properly early. And
does that include grandkids?
Yes. And so, Maya, it is a sacred obligation. It's not that I'm trying to be intrusive. I have no choice. Now, the fact that Isaac was now 100 years old when Esau was 40 is proof that Isaac failed as a father. That's how the rabbis viewed it. And Tamara is going to say, properly so, that
Okay.
Isaac, Rebecca screwed up their sons' lives pretty seriously. Pretty seriously. And that Esau had a lot of scars. Any comments on this before we move on? It's fascinating. Tomorrow you put something in the chat. I didn't follow it. Let's see. What is it there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, can I ask if anybody have a comment, may I?
Look at 28, 6 through 9. Look at 28, 6 through 9. Let's look at 28, 6 through 9. Esau saw the
Page 182 of the plow.
Yeah. Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob, take a wife. Jacob heeded his father. Esau understood his father Isaac with his favor at the daughters of Canaan. Explain that. So Esau already had married Hittite women and now married Canaanite women as a family of Ishmael, as a way of making peace. Is that how you'd read that? Okay, I have to tell you that for me is new. I just never viewed it that way. And it's reasonable. The text is there. Okay.
Stan?
Pardon?
Risa. In the women's commentary, this section is the section on where we were, 26, says that Esau marries Canaanite women. It's Hittite in the text, and the commentary says Canaanite.
Wow.
What does that mean, Tamara?
Deuteronomy treats the Hittites the way it treats the other Canaanites. So Canaanites is sort of anyone who is not us in the land. And the Hittites are listed amongst the Canaanite, even though technically they are not.
Okay, thank you. Wow, good stuff today. Okay, let's go on from bitterness of spirit. When Isaac had grown old and his eyesight had dimmed, he called his elder son Esau, saying, "My son, here I am," he answered. When Esau answers, "Here I am," the Hebrew hineni, what does that trigger for you?
Abraham.
It's a real trigger word within the Torah, hineni. What do you get?
Abraham.
Okay. Abraham does a lot of hineni responding. Hineni is the typical response of a loyal servant of God who says, "I stand here ready to do the job." And Esau is the one who says hineni. I just, boy, that you know,
I love that.
that just struck me.
I love that. He ain't the only one. He ain't any Lord.
Tamara mentioned that the rabbis dump on Esau. So here I have another example. It says, when Isaac had grown old and his eyesight had dimmed, he called Esau. And the rabbis say, why did Isaac's eyes dim? Answer, because that miserable kid Esau was offering incense before idols in Isaac's house, and it was that incense destroyed his sight.
That's a no-no.
They didn't treat him neutrally, right? They had quite a view of him. Then another rabbi came in with a far more beautiful insight. Isaac's eyesight was damaged when, during the Akedah, when he was up on the altar and Abraham was going to do the fatherly thing of slaughtering his son, angels wept, and the tears, the bitter tears of the angels descended upon Isaac, hit his eyes, and therefore he always had damaged sight. Always had damaged sight.
May I ask? Wow, may I ask a question, please?
Please go ahead.
You said the angels cried. What other reasons would angels cry? When children are like, I bet they watch over. I know. I just want to ask what you think about the angels crying when they usually do. Other than just Isaac, Esau. What do you think, Rabbi?
So angels wept at the pain of seeing Isaac, because, by the way, you do know that the rabbis sometimes think that Isaac was actually sacrificed, that he was slaughtered and then resurrected. So they had that. Mara, Harv, whoever is up.
I like angels singing, not crying.
Okay.
Well,
Mara?
I actually had a question way back on chapter 25, verse 34, when the Torah says, so Esau despised his birthright. It appears such a blatant statement. It almost seems out of keeping with the verse. And I wonder if there's been any scholarship that suggests that was added later by those who wish to clearly defame Esau.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. People are complicated. Mara, that's going to come as a surprise to you. People are complicated. And
I love Mara.
In a given setting, people may say or do things which they don't mean. And you get Esau coming in from the field, hungry, whatever. And he has this bull bayes or whatever it is that had been prepared. And we use the expression, I'm dying to whatever, right? I'm dying. You want the birthright? Give me the birthright. Give me the soup. And he despised it. Does that mean he despised it? Or does that mean that situationally he just behaved in a rather unfortunate way? I don't know. It's the way I would read it. I would read it not that he despised, because it doesn't show that way later on. He wanted the blessing. He wanted his place in the family. When he gave up his blessing for the pot of soup, I hope it was sweet and sour soup from P.F. Chang. I do like that. Now,
Oh, Lord.
when he did that, I didn't have the sense that he was forever rejecting it. He was situationally famished.
I agree with everything you're saying. That's why it seems to me that the blunt statement, so Esau despised his birthright, was not in the, shall I say, the original Torah, that it was added editorially later, historically, by those who wanted to perhaps change the implications of what was going on.
Well, I don't know the answer to that at all. I have no knowledge at all, but I can tell you this. Clearly, the text will go out of its way to raise up Jacob. And one of the ways of doing that is to lower Esau. And whether it happened then or whether it happened later, but the process is there. Look what we inherited when you would just walk around and someone says, Jacob, Esau, we carry images built in. We know who the good guy is. We know who the bad guy is. Look at the way this morning I did not pick up on the subtlety of Esau didn't do things just to make his parents angry. He was working through a lot of scar tissue. I think it's a more humane way of looking at it. Okay, thank you for that. Anything else coming up? Donna, to the text, what is your question? To the text.
I was the scar tissue. I was saying you do things to help reach out to others when you're hurting, and it removes the scar tissue from your heart, like playing for the veterans. I'm a disabled person.
Okay, but let's stick.
Okay, yes, sir. I just want to make a comment about scar tissue.
Yeah.
Please, yes.
With the text. Mara Harv, you're still up. Is that a question?
Yeah, it's Harv. Is this really the first case of a meritocracy or the beginning of a meritocracy where instead of the older child being chosen, the one that has the best, call it traits, gets chosen? Would you think about that for a second? Am I correct or not?
I'm going to open up something else, which is actually a deeper, bigger, broader problem. Primogenitor. Okay, and the favoring of the firstborn. It's a major polemical touch point, flashpoint between Judaism and Christianity. We are the elder son. Christianity, the younger son, supplanted or tried to. Joseph and his brothers. What happens in that story, Harv? Okay, so there are numerous stories in the whole Bible about the younger replacing the older. Genesis 25:23. I want you to know I was prepared for that. Let's look at Genesis 25:23. Okay, 25:23. Okay, look what it says. This is when Rebecca pregnant twins. The Eternal One said to her, God is talking directly to Rebecca. God said to her, 2 peoples are in your belly. 2 nations shall branch off from each other as they emerge from your womb. Ulaom milom ye'ematz. Wow. One of those peoples will dominate, overpower the other, and then this. Varav Ya'avod Sa'ir. This is a hugely significant polemical text in Jewish Christian dialogue. The elder shall serve the younger. It's right here in the text. God says the elder will serve the younger. Now, as you well know, in Matthew 6:4, this is pointed out as a significant rationale for the superiority of Christianity and the. You ever heard the expression, no person can have two masters? It's from this. It's from the Matthew reading of the Genesis reading. No one can serve two masters. And it looks like at one level, Varav Ya'avod Sa'ir, that if you take this as meaning a projected prophetic future, then God is saying to Rebecca, Christians will be served by Jews. That's how they read this. Merle, a point?
I was just going to say that in families with twins, which we have several pieces of our families that have twins, that this power thing with the elder of the two is very typical today, and how one of the twins behaves and creates family issues, and the other twin very often, in whatever way they can, depending on their age, will take over as far as how to please the family, how to do everything, trying to teach the other twin, the malicious or the not so great twin, how to behave properly to please the family.
I won't, and I hear you. I will not even go into family history to talk about how younger siblings can undermine the elder siblings. Not only can, but choose to do so.
That's another class altogether.
The whole book.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking out of I was a miserable sibling.
There we go.
What do you mean, there we go, Risa? Thank you.
I love it.
Well, I was wondering how you were going to say it.
I love this class. I love this class. I just love this
Oh,
class.
it's so good having support.
Well, I was
was
the
an
same
only
way.
child.
I acted the same way.
I, for a significant period of time, thought it was my divine mission to subvert my sister. It just was. Does that please me now at age 83, reflecting back upon the miserable human being that I was? No, not proud. But the question was whether it happens between twins. Absolutely. Absolutely. The best and the worst, the best and the worst. Okay, I see Joy.
Hi, yes. In terms of the text, how does it then fit later when Esau gets blessed and his dad says, yeah, you'll serve your brother, but when you decide to break free, you can do something about it?
Okay, so Joy, where are you going with the question?
So I guess my question is, for example, in terms of Matthew 6, is that argument, I guess, solid if something can be done about it?
Number one, primogeniture, the superiority in terms of inheritance of the firstborn is huge in the Bible. And secondly, it is often violated, very often violated. Third, in the dynamics of family life, can those positions be changed later on, you're asking? And I suspect yes. But Joy, the scar tissue doesn't disappear. The conflict can be resolved. Go on, we'll be family together, kumbaya, oh, everything's good. You can't screw with a person's life and then later on assume that by seriously saying I'm sorry and seriously changing, that you remove the existence of the scar tissue. That probably is an impossibility. And I'm open to all kinds of challenges on that, but that's how I would respond. Yes, Joy, things can be resolved. But
if someone wants it to be resolved, if the person causing the issues wants to will allow it to be resolved.
It's a mix.
I mean, I will say that we have a relative who has caused major problems in our family, down to the grandchildren totally knowing what's going on. And last night it came up at dinner and there were tears because this person does not want it to be resolved. He just wants to keep making lives miserable. And we've moved on from it to the extent that we can.
And it's one of the great things about Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You could walk away from Thanksgiving with your family ripped asunder, or maybe not. Maybe not.
So does that
You
mean
never know?
Does that mean you can forgive but not forget? Is that what that theory is? You can forgive somebody, but you never forget it. You carry it with you forever.
There is such a series of aphorisms with which I take a little bit of umbrage. Forgive and forget asks a lot.
Yes.
A lot. My family, extended family, had many high points of dysfunctionality. We really, before your generation, Maya, I think I mentioned here that the fact that my first cousin married a Hungarian Jew caused the rest of the family not to speak to her for 25 years. That's my family. She was Jewish, for God's sake.
Really?
But she was Hungarian and we were Eastern European, and that trumps the hunkies, as we used to say. So forgive and forget. It's easy to say, devilishly hard to do. To forgive, easier. To forget, that's a It's a lifetime of effort. Merle, I mean, that's all I can say to that. Okay.
No, it makes me feel good to hear that because that's pretty much what I've been saying since this all started.
Okay, well, my goal is not to make you feel better, but if it does, so
Well, you know where I'm coming from.
okay. Please, Larry.
God bless you, Stanley.
Well, that's the thing about this story that I think is interesting. I mean, I've often thought that in a different telling of the story, when Esau bursts into the room and says, you know, bless me too, Father, and don't you have more than one blessing to give? Isaac could have very easily said, yeah, you're right, I've been tricked. This is terrible. I'm taking away the blessing from Jacob and giving it to its rightful owner, Esau. But the damage has already been done, and there's really nothing that Isaac can have done at that point to change the rift between the brothers. That's where the story is going, and there's really nothing to be done at that point about it.
Isn't that sad?
Totally.
Isn't that really sad? When they talk about the power of speech, in a single moment, in a single conversation, you can say something which will change lives.
Mm-hmm.
And talking it back, I believe in forgiveness. And I believe that when someone honestly says, look, I'm really sorry, I believe it. But I wish I could tell you I'm saintly enough to say to you, and I never revisit the pain again, because that wouldn't be true. It doesn't mean I don't forgive. Yeah, Larry, it's hard. It's very, very hard. Okay, I see Mara Harv again, yes?
Yeah, if I look at all of this, what I see is the danger of seeing difference, of viewing others in terms of their differences rather than their similarities. And that the blessing is based on difference. So if Isaac were able to say, I want to bless my children, as opposed to what he actually did, the world around him and the world that he's building would have been a more just world. And so it seems the lesson that I get out of this Torah portion is that rather than looking for differences, we need to concentrate on how similar we all are and how much we have to agree upon.
Okay, boy, that would open up. Joy, you have a question?
I do, and it's sort of coming from what Mara just said. I can think of a social reason or maybe some sort of sociological one, but is there like a biblical reason why the responsibility of breaking off a yoke is on Isaac when the person who did the wrong was Jacob? Because even in the way that the second blessing is orated, like there's so much responsibility that's put on Esau, I meant, where it's like he has to be the one to do all this work when technically he's been the one who's been wronged.
Yes, first of all, yes, okay. But I'm going to say to you that our reading of these texts is shaped by hundreds and hundreds of years of rabbinic interpretation. Esau is regarded to be the progenitor of whom?
The
Rome,
Romans.
Rome,
Isaac, yeah.
Rome. If you track the rabbinic understanding, doesn't make it history, it's not. But if you track the rabbinic understanding, Esau must be evil midatchila, from the beginning, because his descendants gave rise to Rome. And so why would the rabbis dump on Esau? Why wouldn't they give him a break? Because he is the blood origin of the empire that destroyed the Second Temple. Okay?
Right, Rabbi?
So they are reading it. Okay, Philistines, Goliath, Joseph says, yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Brad.
Yeah, Jacob, yes, he's the youngest. And the youngest versus the elder. But Jacob is also the trickster. And this is a topos in the ancient world where the trickster is valued. I mean, look at Ulysses. Ulysses is the ultimate trickster, and he is a hero as Jacob is here, despite the fact that he is, because of the fact that he is a trickster, abetted by Lady Macbeth's mother. So, I mean, our perspectives, I think, are somewhat, you can't look at this through a 21st century set of eyes.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. And what is his name? Loki, whatever. In the Scandinavian mythology, the trickster is also a very powerful person. Very powerful. Okay, I'm going to go to Rebecca. We're running now. Rebecca?
I just want to say this is a great discussion, and also not to forget that Rebecca was told by the Lord that the elder would be served by the younger.
Finish your thought, please. It's a good thought. And therefore, what was she doing when she counseled Jacob? What was she trying to do?
Follow the direction that she was given.
I think she was trying to subvert the direction. In other words, if God says the elder Jacob is going to serve Esau, if that's what it was meant, and she was trying to figure out how to get Jacob retaining his position as the elder, she's trying to get Jacob to subvert what she heard as God's intention. I mean, it's fascinating. Thank you for doing this. Thank you. What was Rebecca thinking when she tried to block the favoritism being shown to Esau? I love it. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to go to Kaddish, and this was great. Thank you for that. Josh, thank you for joining us. It's really great to see you, and Maya too. Wait, whatever. Okay.
I'm here every week. I am into this. That is no fair just because he's here every once in a while. He's like a celebrity.
The prodigal son.
Okay, I am now going to go back to ripping the rest
He's a grandfather trying to protect his granddaughter.
Well, it's
I like
David's tradition of my ripping our family apart. It is a long-standing tradition. We're going to go to Kaddish now.
But we love Josh.
Only?
Oh, and Maya.
See,
That's an afterthought.
okay. Those who have passed away during the past month. Rebecca Broad, Norma Bubar, Judy Eder, Paul Fisher, Linda Gash, Latifa Gadushi, Magdalena Gilbert, Howard Goldfeder, Barry Robert Katz, Sidney Gary Morantz, Philip Marber, Reza Nakshin, Susan Pakel, F.M. Rudin, Irene Salzman, Carolyn Scher, Daisy Schott, Mordechai Schlush, Moshe Jeffrey Shopson. And the following, the anniversaries of whose deaths have occurred during this past week: Sam Adlin, Celia Adler, Julius Adler, Barbara Alpert, Sarah Ansel, Harry Arden, Irene Bacharach, Sam Bailey, Sarah Barenboim, William Becker, Thelma Berkowitz, Marie Berman, Faye Albin Bolanek, Yehuda Budel, Ralph Bookman, Joseph Brandis, Leo Brandis, Evelyn Buckspan, Charlie Berger, Reva Burstein, Earl Cherniak, Ruth Rebecca Cohn, Florence Cohn, Albert Dorskin, Ruth Dubin, Charles Engler, Sanford Fagadev, William Feinberg, Betty Feldman, Gisa Fish, Hyman Fischler, Robert Frank, Melanie Freistat, Rizal Friedman, Charles Gelfand, Morris Martin Glass, Shirley Glick, Lawrence Glucken, Toby Gold, Martin Goldman, Sam Gordon, Shirley Gordon, Lisa Gruner, Joseph Haddad, Richard Heller, Rose Hankowski, Celia Jacobson, Max Kaplan, David Carney, Celia Katz, Bess Katzinger, Alexis Brooke Kaufman, Richard Harold Kent, Meyer Kessler, Jonathan Konov, Carl Kossauer, Arnold Kroll, Aaron Kurtz, Arthur Levine, Nat Levy, Lois Liebhaber, Pearl Lindheim, Sarah Lipo, Lynn Lipson, Ruth Majoffis, Arlene Matthews, Nell Mendelson, Daniel Miller, Joseph Mittler, Marie Moran, Bernice Parker, Joan Perlmutter, Pearl Post, Donald Rolkin, Irving Revitz, Francis Richter, Arnold Rolnick, John Rosenblum, Alpha Maria Russell, Benjamin Sachs, Yedidia Sala, Gilbert Salka, Francine Salter, Carol Schechter, Nancy Schmidt, Mary Schaefer, Goldie Silverstein, Ivan Sloan, Bryony Sloan, George Smith, Howard Sobin, Richard Sonnenberg, Alfred Strasburger Jr., Herman Sugarman, Bernard Tuman, Molly Tuchin, Leslie Weitzman, Hannah Wolf, Frederick Wolf, Leora Wolf, Charles Slotkin. I apologize for the names that I have mispronounced. If I have omitted any names, please feel free to speak those names aloud now or speak them in your hearts.
You said Moshe's name perfect.
We mention as well.
John Lashkar.
We call to mind those who died in defense of the United States, those who died in defense of the state of Israel, those who died through ever increasing numbers of acts of horror and murder, calling all of them to mind. We join in Kaddish. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yalmad Divrach Yudute, Yamlich Malchute, V'chayechon of Yomechon, V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalav Yisrael, V'imru Amen. Yehi Rabba Mavorach, Le'olam u'olmei almaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitromam, Vitnaseh, Yitadar, Vitaleh, Vitalal, Shemeir Gurita, Le'ela min kol berachata v'shirata. Tushbachata Da'amiran bi'almavim romed. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemayim. V'chayim. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Oseh shalom imromav. Uyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol
Israel.
V'imru amen. May God, who makes peace in the high places, make peace in our hearts, make peace in our homes, make peace in the household of Israel, make peace among all the families and nations of earth, and let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Love. Have a
Shabbat shalom.
wonderful
Thank you
Shabbat.
so much.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom. It's great. to
Shabbat
see
Shabbat shalom.
Rabbi,
you.
Celia Katz was my mother that you mentioned.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Love.
Shabbat shalom. Love you all.